What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to T3G. My name is Dollywood, and today we're talking about pretty much the entire array of accessories you can get for the Insta360 Go 2.
Whatever it is that you do the damn thing.
All right, it's funny, I kind of organized it here in a way that I was like, oh, these are the officials and these are the kind of aftermarket accessories. And then I realized I mostly got official accessories. And that's rare because usually the official accessories are more expensive. But I do have to say that's not true in this case. This is a device that has a ton of really affordable accessories. It's kind of a rare thing, especially in the camera industry. So we're going to go through these accessories, talk about pluses, minuses, and whether I would recommend getting them. Right out the gate, I got to talk about the case. I went with the red 360 case. They've got a few different color options. I have dropped this thing entirely too many times to the degree that there is actually a crack underneath the flip out legs. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to get the case. So when I drop it again, this isn't a thing that kills the whole case. The case does have these kind of non-slip pads inside that you have to take off the kind of protective strip on, and then you just kind of jam it in there. Honestly, there's not really much to it, but it is pretty solid. It gives it a little more heft in the hand as well, so it's easier kind of to handle. It's also not as slippery. It's kind of got a matte rubberized finish, and it gives you a flat surface for the quarter 20. You do lose like one, maybe two threads on the quarter 20, so I wouldn't like use this as a secure holding point, but as I've discussed before, this is a last resort, but it's kind of an easier, more manageable last resort now. You, of course, have access to charging. You, of course, have your microphone opening. However, you do lose the flip out legs. So that's kind of been annoying because I'm like, oh, I can't flip out the legs. So now I got to find a thing to put it on, a tripod or something around me that I can attach it to. Otherwise, I have to hold it. There's no option to just plop it down somewhere. So that's kind of the drawback to putting it in the case, but I prefer the protection. That is really the only accessory for the case itself. Outside of that, we go for accessories for the camera. First thing we're going to talk about is the pendant. That's kind of the easiest thing to discuss because, well, lots of people have already. Typically, you put it under your shirt so that it doesn't move around, but I just want to kind of demonstrate it here. For me, fully stretched out on the cable, it's still pretty high. Like it's high on my chest, so I get kind of like a tilted up view. I would prefer to have a longer cord. There's not really a way to do that though. You would have to cut it and readjust it, but it's just like the way it adjusts is so nice. I would love to be able to extend it, but I don't know how to attach it. So I might actually have to go destructo on this and see if I can put in a different set because like it looks like there could be something done, but I think I'm going to have to destroy it to see. And that may be just a different video entirely. Sticking with the magnetic functionality of the Insta360 Go 2, we're just going to call it the Go 2 going forward. It's a mouthful to say every time. So the magnetic functionality of the Go 2 does give you access to fun things like this. This is a hat clip. I've also put it on shoulder straps and things like that. So there's some options for this. Not a ton of options. There are a couple options of where you can put it, but it just plops in one direction. It is specific. You cannot actually put it in the wrong way. It does have what looks like a microphone cutout on both sides. However, due to the nature of magnets, you can't just willy-nilly flip polarity. And the way all of these work is that there are actually magnets in here. It's not just like a metal piece that you're magnetically attaching to. There are actual corresponding magnets opposing on either end because the magnets on the back of this are two different polarities. So then they properly attach. So when they attach it. It's like it's in there pretty solid. I like this one because it does have the adjustability. It does kind of go 360. Not that you need it. There's no reason for you to point it inward, but you can pretty much adjust it to any angle, which is always nice. Something simple is going to be the quarter 20 adapter. Magnetic, same thing, but it does have a adjustable quarter 20 bottom. It is on a little ball joint, so you can readjust it, and you can even make it go horizontal on a vertical mount. So pretty straightforward, pretty useful. Honestly, I've used it in the car. I've used it on tripods in the house. Like it's just kind of useful, honestly. I think this is heavily underrated. People talk about the other connectors a lot. I think this one's heavily underrated because you can attach it pretty much to anywhere with this. You know, as long as you got a quarter 20 mount, you can attach this to anything, pretty much anywhere and in any direction. And we also have a magnetic action camera mount. I will say this is probably the least useful thing I can think of. I personally am not going to take this thing into action scenarios, moving around scenarios where I might lose it, where it might drop, where an extra heavy impact or shock might loosen it from the magnet enough for it to pop out. So honestly, having a magnetically attached action camera mount, kind of useless in my opinion. I don't think I've ever even connected it. I think I just have it because I wanted to kind of go over all of these. The kind of nice thing, it does have a metal bottom piece here. So there it is. There's metal. It's nice because I always talk about wanting more metal action camera accessories. It's just not the way I would have gone. Now, from the manufacturer, the star of the show has to be the friction mount. Without question, it is 4-direction, horizontally adjustable. It will adjust to pretty much any flat surface. It is kind of scary how strong it connects when it does connect. I had it in my car on the windshield, and when I was taking it out, I don't think you can tell. Oh, you can tell. I actually have a little bit of a gap on the sticky portion because it had suctioned to the freaking windshield so hard that when I was pulling it off, it was pulling off the double stick tape on the pad, not to the actual pad itself. It does have this little slip-on protector here. Honestly, I put it on, used it for months, took it off, and like even if you purposely, like I dropped it, put it in some dirt, and then just washed it with warm water, no problem, reconnected without any issue. I saw one of their commercials where they just like plop it onto the windshield of a car. Again, not something I would do. I don't think I would trust anything like this externally, especially unless it's like a freshly brand new, cleaned, polished car, and then it's certainly a flat surface, because even on a windshield, there are like really tiny little granules and stuff that are on there. Even if you regularly take your car through a car wash, there's like a specific way to wash a windshield for it to actually be properly clean. But on interior surfaces, absolutely a must-have. This is, I think, going to just end up living in my car because I just put it up in the corner. It's completely out of my line of sight, and I can just plop in the magnet and move on. Like it's super easy, super useful. I think this is by far an absolute must-have. Now, the last piece here that is magnetic is kind of a curious one for me. So it is the charging adapter, but also on an action cam mount. Let's kind of unpack that for a second. It has the action cam mount, so you can attach it to any GoPro style connector. But again, it's meant to be a charging adapter. So there's not, I guess I don't really understand why you would want to connect it to an action cam mount if you're then just going to plug it in and record with it plugged in. To me, this is a situation where, I have storage, but I don't have battery and I still want to record. I don't know. It is honestly a weird situation. It has this weird kind of clip thing on the front, which then is like, is this meant to be like I'm plugging it in outside of something, like externally on a bike or a motorcycle or whatever, and then charging it through a separate power source and then just like going on a ride with it? Or I don't know. It's a weird setup. It does have some venting on the back, which I think is funny because on the front there's no venting. So it's kind of like, what are you venting exactly? So I think it's just the heat from the charging, the induction in here, but the camera still gets very hot. I did test it in my house where I keep it about 67 here in the winter. It ran the full length of the storage. So, I mean, it will record as long as the storage is available, but I can do that without having to charge it. So I really don't understand the purpose of this adapter. I guess maybe if you offload and then you're low on battery, then you can put it in here, plug it in, and then record. I guess that's really the only scenario I can think of where this is useful. Otherwise, save your money, which is weird because this like ran out of stock. Like I had to wait to get this. But yeah, save your money. It's kind of pointless, honestly. If you can come up with a different reason and a different way it can be used, please comments. Let me know. As I'm kind of like, it's just gonna go into a drawer and collect dust. So that's it on the magnetic side of things. Let's talk about this guy. This is a rubberized grip case. It's just kind of nice, honestly. I really like this thing. It is just it's just kind of nice. Like it changes the color entirely, so then it's even more low profile. So you still have full access to the magnet on the back. So if you put it on a shirt or something, like you could probably get away with it being in a shot and it'd be real hard to notice. kind of the best solution, honestly, that I've seen for something like that. It does obviously have the strap. This is not something that comes with it. This is one I had. I don't even know what this is from, honestly. But I just wanted to attach it to something because I don't want to lose it, because it's pliable, it's bendy. Like, I'm likely to just like shove it under something and it'll be under it because it'll flatten out and stuff. So, but I like it. It's a dope accessory. Links, of course, down below for all this stuff. Affiliate links if you use them. I appreciate you. Helps the channel out. Helps me keep doing stuff like this. Now, these two pieces I'm going to talk about at the same time for a couple reasons. This is the official Insta360 camera action cam adapter. So like it wraps around it. It's like perfectly molded. And once you put it in, this is not going anywhere. This is what I would use in an action scenario, because then I know I can tighten down the joint. I know this is not going anywhere because it is properly like kind of hugged on there. It's fully formed and molded around the shape of the thing. So it's not going anywhere is the point. This is a metal adapter that does the same thing, kind of. It's not, obviously it's much thinner. It's not properly formed around it. And you do kind of have to navigate it and have to kind of put it in its place. It does have a little cutout at the top for the microphone space, but my issue here is that you could drop the camera while you're putting this on, because it's on a hinge. So it's fully open. So when you put it in place, it's kind of like, all right, let me see, like it's not straight. And then it's like, if you lose your grip on this in any way, you're going to drop this camera. Now, once it is in place and it is locked in, it's not going anywhere because it has these non-slip pads on the inside, which prevent it from moving around. So I'm very confident that this is a secure solution, and it's metal. So that definitely goes into my preferred action camera accessory bundle, but it is harder to put on and kind of more frustrating to deal with. So now with both of those, you do have to remove them from the action cam setup to put the camera in or take the camera out. This third one solves that problem. It attaches, as long as you want it to be attached, and then it has a little clip that just lets you slide the camera in and take it out whenever you want to. It's pretty solid in there. I mean, I'm not concerned about it not staying in place. When the camera's in there, the clip snaps in, like it's closed. And yeah, you just go and do your thing with it. Then when you're done, open the clip, pop it out, good to go. Now, I do wish it was metal, but it is a pretty solid plastic. I don't think it's going to deteriorate or anything. I like metal accessories. We've talked about this before. Now, the kit that I bought came with a couple other things that were action camera oriented. And of course, once you're in one of these cases, once you're ready for the action cam accessory, you can go with any action camera accessory that is already on the market. Tons of options, from monopods to vehicle accessories, everything in between. I mean, action camera accessories have been around and they're not going anywhere. So once you attach one of these three, you can pretty much go into any system, any new accessory that comes out, you're good to go. I will be keeping an eye out for something like this that is metal, but honestly, this is probably going to be my go-to, with the manufacturer version kind of a close second. This guy's just too annoying. Honestly, it's just too annoying to deal with. It is not user-friendly enough to be useful in kind of a quick setup or quick disassemble. Just like, oh man, I want to get a shot of this. I want to attach it to my car. Oh wait, let me take this out of the action camera accessory. Let me make sure I align it right so that it stays in place, then put it back in, as opposed to pop, snap, and go. Like it's pretty straightforward. As much as I love metal accessories, this has got to be a pass on this one. So that's my quick rundown of the accessories for the Insta360 Go 2. There are a few other variations out there on the market, but honestly, most of them are just this with a slightly different layout. Now, I will do a separate video for the 3D model that Insta360 themselves provide. They do credit the original designer, but it's kind of like a little shock absorbing, what it is made out of. I always forget the terms. I'm not a 3D printing guy, but the softer material is what it's made out of. It's meant to be kind of like a shock mount, kind of like you see with the Rode mics and things like that. It's meant to be something along those lines. So my friend who has a 3D printer is getting the materials necessary and is going to be printing that out for me. So I appreciate that. That's my boy Nick over at TacForm. Of course, TacForm links down below because we live that TacForm life around here. And make sure to come back next week as I will be talking about the most underrated action camera accessory on the market. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.